Good morning, everybody. Today is August 16th, 2020, and you have joined Bob Phibbs, the retail doctor, live for my weekly broadcast. So when you are styling with Stacey, you are like right there first. Tell me where you're joining in from. I know we have so many people across the world. Last week, I think we were in every continent, and it felt like almost every country. So let me know where you're joining in from, and we're across all three platforms this morning, both Facebook and LinkedIn, which you've always been in, but we're also broadcasting live on YouTube. So do me a favor. I know there's a little bit of a lag. Go in and do that. And by the way, while you're waiting, you can also give me some thumbs up. That's really interesting how that works on a green screen. Or you can give me some love, because ultimately, without those things, Facebook or all of them think that no one's here. And I know there's a lot of you here today. So first off, before I get too far along, my thoughts are with you there in Stanton, Virginia, the horrible flooding you had this week, as well as our buddies in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I don't know how they call it, the derecho storms that went through and just devastated the area with just like 1 hour of wind and rain. And the power is still out for our friends like Jill and several others of you out there. So if you're watching this on your phone, we are thinking about you and know that you are going to come back. So I hope that you are doing well. The news this week was kind of interesting that, the Canadian retail sales have been reported have rebounded sharply after their historic lows, with vendors making up almost all of their pandemic losses. Statistic Canada reported recently. And also U.S. retail sales rose 1.2% last month. That's pretty amazing, right? And I've been talking to retailers across both Canada and the U.S. because I have several speeches coming up next month, and I'm trying to get a beat on what's going on. Some are telling me, my God, it's like Christmas, but I can't find product. And others are like, well, we are up really well. And the trouble is we're wondering, how long it's going to last. But it's been going on for so long that I think that we are really in a new place. And people in sewing machine stores are saying, yeah, we were selling them for masks, but people are coming in and they're not just getting the entry level, they're now upgrading. And all that exciting news is great, except you wouldn't know it by reading the news or listening to the news. And I thought about that myself. I've told you over the last few months how I have had to just stop all notifications and even getting rid of some apps on my phone, because it doesn't serve me well when I am the voice of hope for brick and mortar retail to constantly be pummeled. And I was calling out one of the industry papers the other day, because in an article that was about U.S. Retail sales had gone up 1.2. It's like, but wait until August. Like, thanks so much for finding the dark lining in the silver cloud. And so I turn my attention to you on right now is, if you're struggling, we're all struggling, by the way. So the anxiety levels have never been higher. There's just so much. And especially if you watch the news or it comes into you through Facebook, there's a feeling of powerlessness and all sorts of other things. But one thing that I have found is just ask yourself, am I focusing now on what I have or what I'm missing? All right, so just decide that. And then say, am I focusing on things that I can control, like your four walls, your marketing, your employees, your training, your merchandise? Or am I focusing on things I can't control, which is an awful lot of the stuff out there that, frankly, you can't do anything about? And finally, are you focusing on the past, what it used to be like, or what somebody else is doing? Or are you focusing on the future? Because I'm telling you, if you are feeling frazzled and anxious, ultimately, you're probably running a pattern where you're doing all three or some combination, right? So you're looking back at things that you can't, that used to be. You're looking at an awful lot of things that you can't control. And ultimately, you are stuck and figure out what are you missing instead of what have you got. And I encourage you to focus on the future, because that's all you can control. That's it. If you decide that you want to get in shape and you want to go running, well, you're going to have to go through and focus on, well, what do I want by running? Oh, I want an end goal. I want to fit into a dress. I want to feel better about myself. I want to build the endorphins, whatever. Make that great enough that you'll move heaven and earth to do it. But don't just take a half-assed, well, I hope I'm going to start running again, because that means you're not going to do it. And right now we don't have time, because quite simply, it's an election year, and everyone on every side in the U.S. is going to be trying to tell you to worry and worry and worry and worry. And if they win, then all the momentum that we are pulling up from the grassroots, all those green shoots that you've been telling me about, are going to have an even tougher time. And I don't want that for you. So that's my little tip for you today. Again, if you're trying to figure out how do I hold on to this, start off by looking at the things you can control, being grateful for what you have, and then setting a goal in the future saying, I already see that we're going to be successful in 6 months. What am I going to do? When I'm so busy, then I'm going to look back and say, oh, thank you, older self, for having done all these things to get me to here, instead of, just being stuck. So I hope that helps. Let me take a quick look at all your comments, because there's an awful lot of here. By the way, if you haven't given me any of that, you can still give me the love. You can still give me that. And if you like anything I say, you can even write the word yes in the comments. How's that? Awful lot of good mornings all around the world here. Thanks so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for the yes. That's great. Cheryl, chilly Salem, Connecticut, 68 degrees. I know. I was going to say winter's here. Don't say that. Fall is coming, knocking on the door in upstate New York. That's for darn sure. My video is blurry, Joanne. I don't see that from anybody else. This should be pretty good. All right. Hi from Mexico. That's great. Hey, Roger, glad you're here from Utah as always. Awful lot of yeses there. Thank you very much. Sarah, good morning from Cedar Chest in Wembley. All right, good. So let's get to your questions for me, because there's not a lot of them, but we'll make sure that we get them. Donna, great idea. Absolutely will do. Fabulous. That's what I want to hear. Top fan Tim says, options how to handle policing of customers entering retail without masks without losing the customer either temporarily or permanently. So there's no good answer here, Tim. You know that. I know that. I think you either have a zero tolerance or you have gray. It's one or the other. I know that I've seen an awful lot of businesses who are saying mask on so we can stay open. That's a sign they put in their window and they hold to it. But there's no easy answers. You can encourage them to shop online, but we're really hearing over and over that the shoppers who are going out are really looking for cleanliness and safety above all else. And, when people tell me, yeah, but, he's really a good customer. If he's really a good customer, why would he challenge you like that? Why would he challenge you like that? There's no two ways about it. We don't know what is going on with this, but it's clear we're not going to be out of the woods on this for an awful long time. And I'm up here in New York, and we're in feels like month 8, but it's probably like month 5, and we're still wearing masks and people are just doing it. But you have to decide, we're either in or we're out. I think it's just really hard when you make exceptions, because what it says to most of the other people who are following and doing everything, it doesn't matter. By the way, Tim, I know you're a music retailer and you've done this, but you did I know you've done some great videos where you've got you on piano and you had that woman behind the plexi. Do more of those things, showing what it's like to shop in your store. Just pummel content around safe and secure. Because here's the thing with musicians, we have got to find a way to hold on to music right now, because it's being killed when we don't have bands and we can't have choirs. And yeah, people can do, I did a virtual choir. I am over virtual choirs. I'm a conductor. There's nothing like 100 people with an orchestra and an audience experiencing all that. We've got to hold on to that. And that's got to be our marching order, that music matters. And how are we going to do that is we have got to make sure we find ways to keep music happening. And just say the mass of the least of it. What we have to do is launch a movement. All right, you got me. To have a movement of people who are going to keep music alive. That's what's important, not a friggin' mask. And if you believe in that, then you know that music matters, and you're going to follow our store, and you're going to follow our guidelines, and you're going to help us find ways to keep music alive in the schools, because right now it is in danger of dying, just like it's happening to theater, just like it's happening to an awful lot of performance venues and performers. I think that works, Tim. I have a little rant there for you this morning. All right, good. Anybody like that? Is that a yes? Anybody give me some thumbs up? Is that yes? You guys get that? All right. Because music does matter. And I've heard somebody say that people aren't going to sing again until 2022 together. That's just horrible news. We have got to keep that light going. And ultimately, each of your customers is going to have to be responsible. And you launch the movement, Tim, and I will be there with you. Fair enough? There you are. Music matters. We need to keep it alive. So Tim, I want you to go through and I want you to start a movement and say, the hell with the mask. What matters is music. Get off of this bullshit. All right. Maybe you can get me to get on NAM again, and I'll share that message in a really impactful, warm, and cozy. No, because the time for us sitting back and letting somebody else determine what's going to happen to the arts is done. We have got to find a way to have plays, to get musicals, to figure out what it's going to do. But it's until we get there, it's each of us that has to find a way. In fact, I'm playing around with doing a version of a song live, but I haven't got it enough in my body yet to feel confident, but I will, because I believe music matters. And that's one of the things I'm going to do, is to try to find a way to keep music out there for all of there. Barb says, we own 2 women's clothing boutiques. Excellent. We have been doing Facebook weekly live sales for 2 years. And since COVID, we're now doing monthly virtual shopping events, 2 hours of constant selling. These events are successful. However, more regular customers now wait to purchase until the monthly sale. Of course they do. Once our normal returns, how do I return them to full price shoppers? My customers currently come into our boutique to pick up their items for the sale. And I have fall merchandise on, but they won't pay full price because they know it'll be discounted on the next Facebook Live. This is a common problem, Barb, that, it doesn't take any creativity to throw out a discount. And, I always say people who can't sell rely on discounts because that's easy. The problem is your margins are gone. And what are you going to do with it? I see Aaron's here this morning. Aaron's opening a hotel in the local area. And Aaron, you can fill a hotel with promo rooms all the time. But if it's not enough that I'm going to pay full price for, you can get stuck in that market and never get out of it. And that's what Barb is telling us here this morning. Ultimately, you have got to decide not to do it. And ultimately, I find too many businesses really don't believe in their pricing structure. It's really not worth it. So they hem and they haw, and they know what they paid for it, and so they discount it. But eventually you get back to that place and say no. So I would say start not doing your discounts on Facebook Live. We're coming into the holidays. You did it temporarily. I wouldn't say, oh, we're stopping it. Just stop it and move on. And the people who are going to reward you and make you money are the ones who are going to stay with you. And those who are I call them the dirt scratchers, they'll go anywhere. There's discount here, there's discount here. I'll take this, I'll take this. Those people you may lose, but they're not going to build your business. So I can't tell you how many retailers I've seen gone through just what you're talking about. And I also believe you got to get sales training. It's that simple. We are getting an awful lot of people coming back to SalesRx who had been with us for a while. In fact, their employees are ones telling them to come back. We really need that because we need that positive approach. We need something to focus on rather than sitting around waiting on customers. And in fact, a quick story, we had a woman who just joined us this week, and she is in a town where there is a statue or something that is controversial. And the governor said he's not going to take it down. There's protests left and right. And you know what? She still bought SalesRx, even though those protests are in front of her store, because she is thinking of the future. And she knows that she's going to have to do a better job. So sell the merch at full price means an exceptional experience, and especially in a women's apparel store. I know there's several of you along the way who are going through and are selling apparel, and people are crying the blues. No one's going to malls. No one's dressing up. Well, change our attitude. Give me a reason to. Tell me about Zoom and why it's so important that I look decent. Show me. If you're a jewelry store, it's real simple. For a women's apparel, go through, wear the earrings, wear the necklace, wear the, I don't know, they don't wear brooches, pendants, whatever they wear all the stuff and talk about it and say, look at the difference in how I look here. And then just turn around, take it all off and say, or this, who would you rather talk to? And they're going to say, oh, I'd rather talk to one like that. Great, be like me. Because what you have to show them is, this is where you are, this is what you could be, and we are the one that connects those. Because then people will be like, oh, I got to go to that store. And I forgot. That's right. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, you can wear no pants and Zoom. Yeah, isn't that funny? Really? Is that the attitude you want talking to your customers, to your boss, to your family? Is that it? Like it's all a joke? This might be our life right now. You might be locked down. Why not enjoy it? Why not do something with it? So there you go. Another little mini rant there, Sharon. I'm sure you're going to love that. Sarah, I love your quote. As a clothing boutique, so right, sales all the time will ruin your sales. See, brilliant people, follow me. It's totally there. Starting with Stacey, I love your comment. Life is an occasion and dress for it. That's great. If you love that, say yes. If you love that, say, give me a thumbs up. If you love that, give me a heart. Mark, exactly. Don't train your customers to be discount hunters because everyone else is already doing it. You can't compete with that unless you want to be, we're cheaper than the cheapest other guys. And you know what that's called? Bankruptcy. Oh, look at this, Carolyn. With the busiest I've been, attitude makes a difference. Exactly. That's exactly it. Heather says, my neighboring store will discount more than 50% off just to move the merch. They send out multiple coupons to allow for stacking. I don't think they've ever sold anything at full price. Yeah, Heather. So, in the old days, some people would use a retail store as a tax deduction. So what they would do is they would go through, I get my little marker off of there. They would go through, there it goes. They would go through and somebody was making a lot of money or a partner or whatever, and then they didn't care if they lost money because it was a tax deduction. Those days are done, with retailers going out left and right, the big boys, the small, etc. You need every ounce of money you can. So when people discount like that, either you have to say the merchandise is way overpriced to be able to afford that, or they don't know their numbers, they're going to be gone. In either case, does that affect you? No, because people know what their merchandise is worth. It's not worth anything. Great. That's for somebody else. But people who want to feel good and who want to have a quality product, it's here. And that's another thing we're hearing from Gen Z and millennials. They're absolutely going for quality over price. That's why the fast fashion, we were all told everyone's going to go fast fashion. They're having a really tough time because it's not quality merchandise. And there's issues about sustainability and how it's produced, et cetera. So never forget that. All right, let's get to John. Joseph says, finally, we open our store in about 6 or 7 weeks. It's been a long time, COVID or not. We're excited. You better believe it. In the meantime, we're online and curbside are kicking butt. That's it, Joseph. Just make sure that you're using all the tools for curbside and you're not just fulfilling orders. And I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming webinar here. So there you go. John says, not the same John, I don't think. How can employees be motivated and how can I market my optical store in this COVID climate? I think that was a twofer there, John. So motivation, I always start off by saying nobody can motivate another human being. They've got to have enough going on in their heart that they are wanting something else that makes them want to do it. Get up, go to work, arrive on time, be nice to other people, etc. If they don't have that, I don't care how much you want to pour water in, it's just going to float all over the room. And those people are energy vampires because you keep trying to fix them and it's just not there. That said, one of the most important things that I think an owner or business manager can do is help your employees set goals. And they don't know what a goal is. You're going to have to teach them. You're going to have to come up with it, help them make that, and go through and help people achieve their goals. Outside of achieving a store goal, that's not what we're talking about. If it's to go through and they want to go to FIT, if they want to be an artist, I don't care what it is, but if you can really hone in on giving them the skills that you've developed as an entrepreneur, which is what you should be thinking about. You had a goal, you made it happen. It's rough. Here's the challenges you run into, and you can support them in that. I can guarantee you that if you help enough other people get what they want, they're going to help you get what you want. But the problem is so many of us manage our employees like they're disposable, right? So, just who cares what their name is? They'll be gone tomorrow. And that's probably not yours because you're asking this, but just make sure that you are looking at how can I help them reach the goals that they want first, because that's really it. And as far as your other one, how can I market my optical store in this COVID climate? One of the big things about optical stores, it's easy for us to say, I'll get it afterwards. Make sure you show your cleanliness, make sure you show your safety. But do you really know your customers? Because ultimately, if you do, then you can figure out where they are right now. What are their needs and concerns? Call them up, for God's sake, and just say, how are your eyes doing? And do you know, what to look for, that your vision might be a little bit more, or whatever it's going to be. Just call them up and ask what their concerns are, and then you can craft your Facebook, your social media around answering those questions, because there's an awful lot of ways you can do that. You could even do just an Instagram. You could take a three ways to know it's time to need new glasses. Come up with 4 little tiles on Canva, put those as multiple images into your feed, and then it looks like almost a PowerPoint presentation. It's a way of taking a blog into bite-sized content. You could all steal that, by the way. So consider that. And one thing that you really want to do, and this is true for all of you, is to make sure that you attend the sponsored webinar I'm doing on Tuesday with Podium. And I'm going to share with you exactly how you can touch your 7 parts of your customer's journey digitally. You know, most retailers are meeting their shopper at halftime. Hi, can I help you find something? Except you have to talk to them at kickoff. And there's so many ways right now that you can talk to them in new ways and new things you can do. And by the way, I'm not going to be asking you to buy anything. Yes, I am going to be looking for your commitment. And to help you hold you accountable, I'm going to give you 2 options. If you do a few steps after this webinar, I'm going to give you a couple of things that are really going to make your business better. But you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So in this post at the top, you'll see there's a link you can register. Now, I don't know what it is about Facebook, but I looked, there's been several people who've looked at it and haven't registered. And yet on my other platforms, people are boom, boom, boom. So those of you in Facebook, I have to ask, what is it? You have nothing to lose. Why wouldn't you look at how to expand your market, how to make a better customer impression, and how to hold on to them better and get better reviews? I don't know. I certainly would do it. So sign up. It's right there. It's limited. We are at about 70%, and we only have a couple days to go. So make sure you do that. I'm not going to be repeating this. So there you go. Roberta, some of our vendors do not permit discounts, and that's actually helpful. I love that, Roberta. That is great. That is great. Whitney, I love that. Everybody still needs glasses. We sell them too. Sandra, here in China after 5 months, Chile after 5 months, the malls and stores are starting to open and learning new ways to sell. Exactly, Sandra. It's going to be virtual. There's going to be things we're going to be doing, but there's never been more excitement, I think, and opportunity. You can feel it from people who are tired of feeling bad and are trying to find a way to really. Okay, so Erica, there's a link in the thing. You can sign up afterwards. It's very quick. So there you go. All right, so let's keep going. Trish says, by the way, do you like what I'm saying? Give me some thumbs up. If you're on LinkedIn, you can give me applause. There's a lot of you joining me live. I know a lot of you watch this afterwards because quite simply, it's 6:30 in the morning on the West Coast, and I appreciate it if you're watching live, but I don't know how many people I would get up at 6 a.m. to listen to. So there you go. Okay, so Trish says, best floor layout, quick tips for a clothing store. We sell jewelry, ladies, children, and gifts. Should clearance always be in the back? Yes. And should we keep it separate or mix the gifts within the clothing? So Trish, one thing that I really loved about the Nordstrom flagship that they put in New York City, which even though one of the retail industry news sites was saying, oh, it's just not panned out to what they thought it would be. It did. It's going to be amazing. People are going to come back. They're going to shop. It's a groundbreaking. And one of the things that they did was so interesting is they cross-sold, you know, in luxury, which is I consider Nordstrom, you typically would have each of the brands all alone. And then you would, you know, if you want that worldview, you'd go to, you know, Marc Jacobs, or you'd go to Ted Baker, whoever it's going to be. And what they have done is mix all kinds of different things. Like they're going to take a suit and they're going to put a pair of Comme des Garçons sneakers with it. They're going to find all these different ways because they see that it works with their customers. So I absolutely believe that you should cross promote wherever it makes sense. I mean, obviously, putting kids things with your jewelry probably doesn't work unless there's kids earrings. I don't know. But always thinking about how do I get them to stay engaged in the store? Because so many of you are going to hear all people want to do is get in and get out. That's not true. If I wanted to get in and get out, I would only be doing curbside. The fact that I'm willing, I don't have my mask in front of me, but if I was willing to go to a store right now and put on a mask means I'm willing to linger a bit and to browse. So the more you can get me to wait, the better. It's just like a website. The longer you can get somebody to sit on a website, the better. You really don't want someone there and gone because you can't sell them as many things. So going back to your quick tips for layout, clearance always in the back. Yes, the first third of your store is the newest and brightest. I would always say double the lights in that area. You know, if I was a motorcycle or a bike store, I would have like a red carpet leading up to the one most expensive item with as many lights as I could on it to look like it was $1 million. I would go through and maybe rope it off. I would do something to get people like, well, what is that? Because that curiosity is what drives them into the store. So many stores jam their stores with so much merch that it's almost like we go in like this and we can't really see anything. So make sure as we go through, and by the way, that's counterclockwise in North America, make sure that you engage us at every point, and that biggest and brightest and best is in the front third, and then there's something else that's about halfway, and then there's something else back a little ways on the left, and then your counter is on the left as I'm walking in. So I hope that helps. Make sure that you got your sight lines. All right. Deidre says, during these COVID, that was my last one, unless there's something else in here today. Deidre says, during these COVID-19 times, how should I handle product sampling as we get into the fall season? Product sampling of cracker mixes and jams and salsa help sell the product, but with COVID concerns, I'm not sure what to do. So here's the thing, only sample products that you can have a lid on. So I would say, I grew up in Los Angeles, and so you had those little takeout plastic things you'd put the hot sauce in or the cilantro. I would be using those, prepare those foods safe in the back, have them down below, have your person with a plexus shield in front and wearing a mask and gloves, and they just put one out there and explain it at a time as people come up. That's the best. If you can get them from your vendor, that's even better. But ultimately, you just have to make a show of the quality and the safety around all of that, and just make sure that your goal is to sell this. So what would I say, Deidre, is it's not just enough try this, is you need someone who can be engaged and not just sitting on their butt, just waiting for someone to take it. Here's a coupon, right? You want your best and brightest. If you're going to put this money in for somebody physically manning this, then make sure that you're doing it. But just having open containers of stuff with spoons in it just reeks like, yeah, what were they thinking? And we don't want that. So that brings me to the end of my time here. Joanne says, every shelf in my business is cross-merchants with a theme. I love that. Roberta says, make sure that you make outfits. I love that. John, thank you. That's great. If you have any other questions, you can put them in now before I get out of here. But I would say that just to remember, this Tuesday, August the 18th, join me for how easily you can move into the digital age to engage your strangers at the kickoff instead of trying to come in at halftime and then being frustrated that you didn't win the game. Because ultimately, the customers have thought about you long before you probably ever thought about them. And how are you actually getting them to review and hold on to you at the other side of it? That makes a really big difference. And ultimately, again, this isn't going to cost you any money. And I can guarantee you in that 30 minutes, you are going to come up with ideas just like I do every day here, except I'm not going to be doing it. I won't be broadcast live there. Yeah, on every one of if you look at the top where I talked about the video and what the questions I'm answering, just scroll down, and I'll also put it in the comments there as well. Alexandria registered, sweet. That's what I want. I'll post them all again, but there is a link in the top of this post of this video. Desiree, we're a butcher shop. We process USDA and then retail our handcrafted meats. They're all fresh, literally farm to take delivery. Delivery works, but Uber Eats takes 30%. Any recommendations? Desiree, there's no easy way around that. I know that some people have said, you working with, is it the app Neighborhood? I think that, trying to get people to partner so that maybe once a day you would do a run of local deliveries yourself. That's possible. The problem is you're still going to pay that 30% in your own time and your, gas and all those other things. And is that really the best way for you to serve your business? I certainly don't want you to do that. But there's no easy answer. I know that everybody says, delivery is going to be key to Uber surviving, but I'm with you. 30% is really tough. So I would say the last mile is always what you want to look at. And are there other local options out there? My guess is if there was strong enough demand that, again, you could set a window, let's say from 4 to 5, and you'll deliver within 2 miles of the store or something. Maybe that makes sense and you build a route. There's ways out there, but thanks for asking on that. I appreciate it. Okay, so there we go. Bruce, Because credit is so tight from being shut down, how can we get vendors to work with us? Bruce, you're going to have to do a sales job here. You're going to have to say they need you more than you need them, and that's going to be tough. So I would know my numbers. I would go through and I would talk about your plan. You're going to get, for example, you're going to get Sales RX, my online retail sales training program. You're going to train the hell out of your employees. You're going to sell this better than anybody else. You're going to cut out 2 or 3 other vendors that sell similar items, and you're going to go full on in them, but you need them to work with you. And whatever industry strats you have, I would build that into it as well, but ramp up their concerns. You know, you're not the only one that's looking for credit, but how many are coming with a plan and what they can do for it? I doubt many. So ramp up their problems and say, you know, I'm sure you're really worried about losing an awful lot of other people like me. You're probably looking, you may have to cut down manufacturing, et cetera. And I'm the key. It's kind of that area I had for you in that video before, that, you know what they want and you know what they need. And you are the one that connects that and say, coming through me is going to help you solve that problem. But make no mistake, Bruce, you are going to have to come up with a plan and sell them that you are the guy that deserves credit, instead of just asking some person with a microphone, you know, in a call center, hey, can we get, you know, an extra $5,000 in credit, or 100 grand, or I don't know, your business, 100, a million, whatever it's going to be. You're going to have to make that presentation, and you're going to have to commit to a better job with that product. And if you're not, then I wouldn't give you the money either. So there you go. All right. Lisa Cox has one more here. In this time, what's your best recommendation what to focus with my teams, and what's your best advice for influencing in a multi-unit during COVID? Lisa, what to focus on with your team, it's quite simply being grateful. What did we do well? What are we doing well? What did we do yesterday? Finding those stories of exceptional customer service that come along, finding the point of saying, getting a buy-in. You have to craft a vision of where we're going. You know, in 6 months from now, we will have already been through the holiday season. We're going to be through the bulk of this. We're going to look back and say, wow, what steps could we have taken? And now what you do is, as a team leader, I think, Lisa, you have to set the goal and say, here's where we're going. Plant a stake in it. We are going to increase our sales by 10%. We're going to increase our conversion rate, whatever it's going to be. Get buy-in with each of your managers, and then you're going to brainstorm every day around, and how are we executing on that? How else can we do this? Ask yourself better questions. For multi-units, that's the key. Each one of them should be ideating. Once you all agree on the final part, how do we do that? Ask yourselves better questions instead of get caught up in the bullshit of someone didn't wear a mask. You know, we can't get that product 85621. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do we sell what we have? How do we let go of our personal preferences for whatever we sell and sell whatever the hell we have? And that's it. And if you're not using Sales RX and your name does not look familiar to me, Lisa, why the hell not? Because when you have multi-units, one of the hardest things we do is we hold people accountable for training they probably never received. We get disappointed with it, and then we end up discounting or throwing our hands in the air and going, well, you know, it's hard to get good people, instead of making them, which goes back to whatever somebody had said to me before. How do you end up having motivated employees? You set goals with them. You set them on a path of improvement, and whether they stay with you for 3 months or 3 years, they remember you as the one that helped them get what they want. People who get what they want are going to help you a hell of a lot more than the people who are trying to take. You know, I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and I asked about an employee, and she said, oh yeah, she's happy just being home unemployed. She's like, I'll get around to it. Yeah, well, you know what? At some point, that's going to change, and she's going to wake up and go, wow, I should have. Well, I don't want that to be in your business, because some of us are buying the news media, and I don't care if you're left or right. I don't care if you're blue or red or purple or whatever. Both sides, it's important for you to feel fearful and afraid. So if we can just let go of that and say, but what can I control? Where's the future? What can I control? And realize you are on a ladder right now. Unfortunately, my little whiteboard is not working, but there you go. You're on the ladder. And the thing we have to remember is COVID is not here. This is what it feels like. We feel like we're here, but realistically, most of us are right there. We've already taken steps to make us successful. We've already taken steps to go through and do a great job. I don't care whether that starts when you got out of college or you met your sales goals or a million. We've got a lot of that underneath us. We're up. So remind yourself of that. You know, some people said to me, well, you don't understand, Bob. It's just like 2008. That's bullshit. This is not like 2008. 2008, we didn't have money. We had lots of time, right? Stock market tanked, fear rampant, banking, the ATMs weren't going to work, et cetera. Now, we generally have money. Most consumers have it, and we're spending it, but we don't have time, which is why you're hearing price and promotion doesn't work, why you're hearing that availability, I want it now, is so important, crucial, being able to really deliver on that high-end product instead of just the lower end. There's a lot of opportunity all around us, but it's going to come to us saying, damn it, I'm committed to that. Are you committed to it? Are you committed to doing everything for your business? Then why aren't you signing up for a workshop with me? You know, the following week, I'm going to have another one, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to get that one. I don't want to get that in the way. But you should join me. You could learn something. You could actually be enthused. You could actually go to work going like, wow, what else could I do? Instead of watching cat videos or finding out if TikTok is going to be sold or any of the other stuff. You know, it's kind of the starting with Stacy. Hell yes. There you go. I appreciate that. Well, anyway, you've been great with me. I don't usually go this long on my mornings. So do me a favor, though. If you would give me some love, give me some thumbs up, or share this with your friends, whatever platform you see me on, because quite simply, there's nobody like me that believes in providing hope for retail. And if you're with me, I have to believe you share that with me. And make sure that we hold on to that, because if we don't, we're the ones that are going to kill off those green shoots. It's not somebody else's fault. We have to own it. So with that in mind, remember, I believe in you. Stanton and Cedar Rapids, stay strong. We're thinking of you. And I will see you next week for another live video, except this week I'll probably be doing a few more to promote some of the other ways you can engage with me. Again, I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.